Well, hello there again, friends. Today is 4/3/2022, and today is the Odin Project Vlog Day 85. So, we are in the Admin Dashboard project now, and today is Sunday, and I'm just now getting a look at this, and we're going to do this live together. I've not done anything with it. Basically, today we're going to do step one, which is basically setting up the environment, setting up the project, and getting at the end we'll go over the design file and just kind of brainstorm a few ideas. So with all that said, let's just get started. So we have Intermediate HTML and CSS Project Admin Dashboard. Now that you've had plenty of practice using Grid, we're going to build a full dashboard design, and it looks pretty beefy. But we're going to go through bite-sized chunks because you eat an elephant and year at a time. So for this project, you'll use whatever tools you need to get it done, but try to lean on Grid for the majority of the layout work. Go back through the lessons or practice assignments if you need a refresher. So we'll look at this again, but that's the end result of what you're going to have. Of course, I'm going to use my JB Technologies theme that at least I think I am. Like I said, I'm doing this live with you right now. That's my initial thoughts. It could change as we get closer to building out the framework, but it looks like I'll probably maybe use JB Technologies theme and build this similar layout. So with that said, let's go to the assignment. Step 1, set up and plan. Set up your HTML and CSS files with some simple dummy content just to make sure you have everything linked correctly. Set up your GitHub repo. Refer to past projects if you need a refresher. Download a full resolution copy of the project design file and get a general idea for how you're going to need to lay things out in your HTML. So simply going to be probably a short video today. So we're going to go through the setup steps here and just kind of get things placed. So first thing I do, my workflow anyway, is I go out to my GitHub. So here's my GitHub, and I go to repos, and I go to new, and I name it. This one is going to be named, I always just name it the name of the project, so just keep things simple. I use a lowercase. I think if I remember right, let me bring my actually I can't remember if I use underscores or dashes. Usually dashes. Oh, looks like I've done both. Alright, we'll just use a dash. So new admin dashboard. I usually put in the front the technology stack I'm using, so just so I have for myself for just a marker. So I think I might, this is not JavaScript, this is more CSS. So I think I'm going to do CSS admin dashboard. There we go. And then we're going to make it public. Description, I always just basically put the same thing in there. This is just what's going to show at the top of your README file, so that I'll just call this project : space CSS admin dashboard. Making it public, and we're going to add a README file, and it's saying we're creating a public repo and a personal account. That's fine. Create the repo. Takes a few seconds. So there's the initial commit for the README file. Now I'm going to go to code, and I'm going to copy this SSH link, and then I'm going to go to my terminal. I'm going to navigate to my projects folder where I put all my local pulled down cloned projects. So that would be for me, it will be the Odin project there, this one right here. So we're going to LCD to the Odin project. And then you see all the different things. So those are all my different projects I've done thus far. So here is where I just do the clone. So I'm going to do Git Clone, and then space, and then paste that, and then I hit enter, and it's going to clone it down, and we do ls again to see that it's there, and it is there. There it is. See it. So we're going to change directory to it. Css Admin Dashboard, ls, and there's our README file. Do we get status? Make sure we're connected. Cool. Nothing to commit. Working tree clean because we haven't done anything. So cool. So I always get that set up first. So that's set up. Now I take a little extra step here and I go in, and I'm just an organization freak. I have this basically untitled workspace, and I put everything I ever work on basically under here. So what I do is I right and click in here and I add folder to workspace, and I'm simply going to add the CSS Admin Dashboard, and that's going to pop onto the bottom here. And so now you see that with the README file, and I'm going to right click. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to create an index.html, and as I've said before, U is untracked, so that's a part of GitHub or Git because it's the extension's installed on my Vscode, so it's just tracking that it's an untracked change, which we already know that. So we're gonna pop in our boilerplate, hitting the exclamation point and hitting enter. And what I like to do here, just real quick, is I just like to change the title to whatever it's called. So this is going to be Admin Dashboard. I think that's what we're going to call it. We might change it. Let's see what the image has. Yeah, we'll just call it Admin Dashboard for now. So we have Admin Dashboard. I'm going to Control S to save. I'm going to create another file, and we're not doing JavaScript in this particular exercise or project, but we are going to do obviously CSS. So we're going to new file, and this one is going to be style.css, and there's our CSS file, and then Control S to save, and then we got to make sure we go back and link it in our head file. Excuse me. Let me bring up an old one because I don't exactly remember how to do that. Okay, so here we are. So I'm just going to literally copy this one from this project, just for sake of speed. And I'm going to paste that in there because it's a style sheet, and it's hrefing styles.css, which is what we style.css, which is what I called it. So it should work just fine without any errors. So we're doing linking the two files together as per the requirements here of making sure everything works together linked. And we're setting up, we just set up the Git, and so let's just make sure we have that set. Another thing I like to check is I go back to the Git and I just do a Git status to make sure that it's, I'm just kind of a OCD on this, so I like to make sure that it's seeing everything. Okay, cool. So it sees the index and the style file being formed or being created, and it's seeing that it's behind, which is good. I want to see red at this point. So save all this. It's already saved. So that works good, and that's basically the bones. And so that's kind of where we stand. So let's, like I said, it's going to be a super long video. But now let's just take a few minutes and take a look at the design file. So this is what we've got to work with here. So without getting in too deep, it looks like it's a lot like the exercise we just completed. So we're going to have a article, they call the articles, remember in our last exercise. This one's going to be called, I think these are called project cards. I kind of read ahead, but I won't get into it in this video because I want to keep it succinct and flowing good. So we have these project cards. I can already tell it's going to be a grid inside of a grid, so this whole layout's going to be a grid. This is going to be a nested grid. I think we're going to probably have a nested grid over here. I think a lot of this is going to be duplicated from the last project, which would be good. That part will be easy. This is still going to be a bear. It'll be a multi-part series. You see, because you see we have announcements over here and trending. I don't know if those will be their own grid or if we'll span them. We'll figure it out as we get there, because it looks like we could maybe span it. It might get a little ugly if we try spanning though, because I can see I can kind of visualize already that inside this grid you're going to have a grid line here, and so it's obviously overlapping that grid. So if we explicitly define it, we may have to span it or explicitly define a new grid for announcements and trending. But anyway, I'm sure we'll get hints along the way in the requirements file on things that will kind of guide us in the right direction. So I think in the next video, we're just going to build out the bones of the HTML without any data. So step 2, which would be next time, we're going to write out HTML elements for the sidebar, header, and main content. So it looks like we'll be doing stuff for the header here. I think this is what they're referring to, the sidebar. So we're going to do HTML for the header, for the sidebar, and for the main content container. So I'm guessing it's this, but it said containers, so it may be multiple, but this basically working from the outside in, taking our time with it, and going from there. And then in your CSS file, we're going to apply grid properties until we have the basic layout built. Okay, cool. So that will be for next time. Tomorrow I start my on-call shift for work, so if I go radio silent for a little while, it's probably because I got busy with work and I wasn't able to get to the part 2 or step 2 here and work on it. But otherwise, if not, I fully plan on working on this week during the weeknight and doing uploads. So hopefully, if I have Lord willing, I'm his servant. But if I have a quiet week as far as that goes, I will be working on this and sharing with you all. So that's all for today. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content. And let me know in the comments how you guys set up your initial setup and planning when you get ready to do these projects. Everyone has their own workflow and way of doing things. I'd be curious to hear yours. So with all that said, till next time, see ya.